Okay, hello and welcome to today's lecture for GE103. Uh, as you can see on the title slide, today we'll be talking a bit about binary tree traversals. Okay, so as you know, currently we are discussing various kinds of data structures, right? So, one important kind of data structure is a tree, right? So, in one of the previous lectures, we have already looked at what we call a binary search tree. So, this discussion was done when we were covering chapter number 6 of the textbook, which was structures, and we covered the binary search tree as an example of self-referential structures, right? So, there the case study that we did was we need to keep track of all the words typed by the user from the command line. Okay, and for each word we need to maintain a count, so that once the program ends, we can give back a sorted list of words, or just a list of words with the word name and also the number of times that it has occurred, right? So word 1 followed by number of times it's occurred, word 2 followed by number of times it has occurred. So the problem there was whenever we have a word from the input, we have to store it in a binary search tree, right? And for subsequent reads of the same word, we have to do a tree traversal, right? And then until we locate the word, and then we increment the appropriate count. So the data structure we had used there was binary search tree. So today we'll talk a bit more about a more general form of data structure. So this is binary tree. So a lot of concepts will be similar to binary search tree, but as such this binary tree is more general. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll discuss what we mean by this binary tree. We'll talk about some of the major definitions associated with binary trees. We'll be looking at tree traversals, different techniques that we can use to visit all the nodes of a tree, and we'll be illustrating that, implementing that using a small program. So topic for today is binary trees and their traversals. So again, traversal means to visit all the nodes in the tree, and perform some operation, perhaps just print the node value. So that is what we're going to talk about in traversals. Okay, so now I am on slide number 2. So title here is binary trees. Okay. So as it says in the first point, we introduced binary trees in chapter number 6, self-referential structures. So we call it self-referential because recall how a node was defined, right? Struct node, right? So the way it was defined was it was a structure, complex data type. One of the member variables was a pointer to the word. Second member was an integer for count. Third and fourth members were pointers to nodes themselves. So what we have here is we have a node, a node structure, and two member variables are nodes themselves. So structure referring to another. So and we had so we learned that a tree is a data structure that is a collection of data which we call nodes organized hierarchically. So note that when we think about how a linked list is organized, right? So that is sort of like in a straight line, right? So you have a head, and then next you have the second node, third node, fourth node. So there is no hierarchy; it is all on the same level, all in a straight line. A tree, in contrast, has a hierarchy. So we have at the top we have a root node, and then as we go down, we go down from one level to another. So there is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 as we go from root to bottom all the way to the leaf nodes, and then at each level we can have a number of nodes. So the organization is hierarchical and not flat like a linked list. Each node is a structure variable, You already know that generally stores the actual data, right? Data for that node could be an integer or a pointer to a string, and also links to next nodes in the hierarchy, right? So the next nodes will be called the children. So because we are talking about binary trees, so each node is constrained to have a maximum of 2 children. Okay, so in a binary tree, each node is constrained to have up to 2 children. Could be 0 or 1 or 2, but never more than 2. Okay, so we'll soon see. Okay, right. So now I am on slide number 3, and this slide shows a picture of a binary tree, and we'll be using this to talk about some of the major definitions with regards to a binary tree. So as you can see in this picture, a tree with the 11 nodes and 10 edges. So each node you can see has been numbered using a character. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Right. So you have at the top level you have a root. Second level you have 2 nodes B and C. Third level you have 5 nodes D, E, F, G, H. And the next level, last level, you have 3 nodes I, J, and K. Okay. So this is a tree with the 11 nodes and 10 edges. Okay. So we'll be using this tree to define or to discuss the various definitions. Okay. So in the slides that I shared with you on Moodle and Google Classroom, what you should do is probably side by side to listening this video, you should have the slide number 3 open. So then that will allow you to refer back to this slide when we talk about each definitions which come in the subsequent slides. Okay. Okay. I am now on slide number 4, titled Some Tree Definitions. So again, please refer to the picture on the previous slide. You can easily download this slide deck on from both Moodle or Google Classroom. So first definition is of course edge. So edge is how do you define that? Edge is a link used to connect nodes. So if you refer to the slide 3, what you will see is you will see edges between A and C, A and B, B and D, E and J, G and K, and so on. A and C, right? So how do we define an edge? An edge is a link used to connect any two nodes of a tree. So the way we implement this link is, of course, we already know, using pointers. So what we'll have is let's say for A and C, if we want to depict an edge between A and C, how do we do that in our program? We define A to be a node, right? So one of the member variables for A will be a pointer to the left, pointer to the right child. So in that pointer to the right child, what we fill is the starting address for node C. So then node A will be linked to node C, which means while we talk about node A, we just need to access its right child pointer, and that will contain the starting address of node C. So once we have that, then we can visit node C, do whatever you want to it on it. Okay, so that's an edge. So you can see that in the previous slide, we have 11 nodes and 10 edges. Node, of course, we know is used to store the value, and at its heart, a node is a structure variable, right? We know that. Parent node which is a predecessor to any node or gives birth to any node. So in this in slide number 3, you see C is a parent to both G and H. Okay. So for G and H, C is the predecessor, and other way of looking at it is C gives birth to the child nodes G and H. So C is the parent, and G and H are the child nodes. So child node is a node which is a successor or descendant of any node For example, G and H are child nodes of C. Similarly, K is child of G, I and J are children of E, and so on. Now, because it's a binary tree, a node is constrained to have maximum of 2 child nodes. So, of course, you can have less than that. If you see nodes D, I, J, K, F, all of them have how many children nodes do they have? 0, right? So, which means that their left and right child pointers will contain null. And likewise, if you look at node C, if you look at node G, it how many child nodes does it have? 1, right? So you can have 1 child as well, and of course you can have 2 as well. A has 2 child nodes, B and C. E has 2 child nodes, I and J, and so on. So of course note that there is I probably made a typo here. Since we are talking about binary trees, if we see node B here, it's got 3 child nodes, D, E, F. So we are actually constrained to have only 2 child nodes. So that is a typo. So for now, we'll just discuss the tree as it is. So slides have been prepared accordingly. And then when we actually implement the program, we'll make sure that in the implementation in the program, we don't have more than 2 child nodes. So for now, we'll go with whatever we have here, which is the fact that B has 3 child nodes. Okay. Root, next definition. So node from which the tree originates, right? Root node does not have any parent. And what is a root node here? Of course, quite simple. Root node is A. Siblings, nodes that share the same parent. For example, G and H are siblings, both share the same parent C. I and J are siblings, same parent E. D and E and F are siblings, share the same parent P. Leaf node, nodes with no child nodes. So K, node H, node D, node F, all of them, how many child nodes do they have? None. So they are leaf nodes. Okay, now I am on slide 5, and title of slide 5 is tree definitions continued. So we discussed some more definitions. Internal nodes, so all nodes which are not leaf nodes are internal nodes. So a node with at least 1 child. So look at G, it's got 1 child K. Look at C, it's got 2 child nodes G and H. Look at A, it's got 2 child nodes P and C. Look at B, it's got 2 child nodes B has 3 child nodes D, E and F. So any node with at least 1 child is an internal node. So you can see that you can divide all the nodes in a tree into 2 parts, internal nodes and leaf nodes. So any node which is a leaf node is not an internal node. Any node which is an internal node is not a leaf node. Okay. So we can partition in that way. Next definition, important one, path. So what is a path? A sequence of nodes and edges from the start node to end node. So generally we say that we have a path between the originating node and the ending node. So for example, we are saying, can we have a path between node A and J? So a path starting from node A ending at node J. So if we look at our tree, yes, we do have a path exists, and the path is from A you go to B, from B you go to E, and from E you go to J. So A, B, E, J. Okay. So A, B, E, J is a path from node A to node J. Okay. So likewise, path from node A to node K, A, C, G, K. Right. Path from node B to I, go to B, then E, then I. So B, E, I. So like that, we can have paths from a start node to an end node. Okay. Next, height of a node. Total number of edges from leaf node to a particular node in the longest path. So keyword here is longest. So total number of edges from leaf node to a particular node in the longest path. So whenever we want the height, we have to specify the node for which we want the height. So what is the height of k? So total number of edges from leaf node to k, 0, because k itself is a leaf node, so height is 0. What is the height of g? So height of g is 1, because how many edges from g to a leaf node k? It is 1, right? What about height of a? So now for a, what the interesting thing you'll see is you can get two values, because you have two paths. One is the path from a to k, right? How many edges in that? A to c, then c to g, then g to k, 3 edges, right? Another path you have is from a to a leaf node is a to h. So how many edges here? A to c1, c to h 2. So note, if you look at the dimensions, we are interested in the longest path. So therefore ACGK is the correct one, and the height becomes 3 and not 2. Okay. So whenever you have for a particular node, if you want to calculate the height, and from that particular node, if you have multiple paths to leaf nodes, you pick the longest path. Okay. So this way you can calculate the height. Subtree, extremely important definition, which we'll be using in the traversals very heavily. So each child from a node, okay, so listen carefully, each child from a node forms a subtree recursively. Okay. So if you see the slide number 3, so the original tree you have is rooted at A. It's got 11 nodes, 10 edges. Now what is the child of A? One is B, right? And you can see that now you have in black you have a subtree which is rooted at B. So how many nodes does that subtree have rooted at B? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nodes. B, D, E, F, I, J. Right? So and then likewise you can have a subtree rooted at B's child. So we initially had a tree rooted at node A. Now we have a subtree rooted at A's child, which is B, and we have another subtree rooted at B's child, which is E. And you can see the recursion in that we have our original tree with 11 nodes, and then we have the tree subtree rooted at B with 6 nodes, and then we have recursively subtree rooted at E with 3 nodes. Yeah, so I hope you can see the recursion. A subtree is also a tree, just that it is a smaller one than the previous. Okay. So similarly, you can have a subtree rooted at C, right, which has C, G, H, K, and you can have a subtree rooted at G, and you can even have a subtree rooted at K, so which has only one node K. Right. So this concept of a subtree is very important. Every child from a tree node forms a subtree recursively. Okay. Okay. So make sure you see the recursion in this. Every subtree that you get is also a tree, just a smaller one. Okay, so now I am on slide number 6, which is titled Tree Traversals. So now we'll discuss 3 different kind of traversals. You will define them, and we'll do an illustrative example on this on a sample tree, and then finally we'll write a program for them. So what is a traversal? A traversal is a process that visits all the nodes in the tree. Okay. So for example, if the problem is you're given a tree, and each node in the tree is storing some word, so probably a pointer to the word, and your job is that you have to print all the words that you are storing. So each node storing a unique word. So then obviously to print all the words, you have to visit all the nodes. So visiting all the nodes is what we mean by a tree traversal. Okay. So because of the tree structure, many different traversals are possible. So many ways in which you can visit all the nodes. So we'll discuss three different ways. So first is an in-order traversal. So here, so again, all these three traversals are recursive. Okay, because whatever procedure you follow, whatever steps you follow for the original tree, the same steps you will follow for the resulting subtrees as well, left subtree, right subtree, recursively. Okay. So initially you do these three steps, whichever are written on the initial tree, and this will lead to performing the same three steps on the left subtree, same three steps on the right subtree, and then it continues so on and so forth till you reach the leaf nodes. That's when you stop. So we know that that's a classic hallmark defining characteristic of a recursion. You take a problem, you know how to solve it, and you keep on dividing it into small sub problems, and finally you reach what we call the base case. Then that means now you're at an atomic state, you cannot divide the problem any further, and so from this atomic or base state, then you do some substitution, and eventually you get the answer to the original problem. Okay, so plug in the values, get the answer to the original problem. So in-order traversal, first one, perform an in-order traversal of left subtree, visit root, perform an in-order traversal of right subtree. So you can see when you look at a tree, so you'll have a root, you'll have a left subtree, and you'll have a right subtree. So we'll soon see. You do that, and then on the left subtree you can do in order. So for that left subtree there will be a root. That left subtree will have its own left subtree and right subtree. And so like this you do the recursion. Pre-order, different sequence of steps. Visit root, perform a pre-order traversal of left subtree, perform a pre-order traversal of right subtree. Okay. So these are two of the traversals. Now I'm on slide 7, tree traversals continued. So in the previous slide we looked at in order and pre-order, and this slide we look at post-order. Perform a post-order traversal of left subtree, perform a post-order traversal of right subtree, visit root. So you can see some similarities between all the three, and in all of the three what is common is one step is that you have to visit the root, another step is you have to visit the left subtree and again do the three steps, and the third part is you have to visit the right subtree and then again perform all three steps. So the sequence, the order in which these three happen, they can change. So in post order, it's left subtree followed by right subtree followed by root. And in order, it's left subtree followed by root followed by right subtree. And in pre-order, it's root followed by left subtree followed by right subtree. So which means that once we discuss one of them, the others will be very similar. So we note the recursion in all of these three procedures. And let us now discuss each of these three traversals on a sample binary tree. Okay, so we'll take one binary tree, and on that we will illustrate the working of all three traversals, and we'll see what answer we get. Okay, so now I'm on slide 8, and we are going to start with in-order traversal. So before we start, please write the steps. Maybe you can take a separate piece of paper and write the steps for an in-order traversal, which were given in slide 6. So steps are: given a tree, the original tree. First, perform an in-order traversal for the left subtree, then visit root, and then perform an in-order traversal of right subtree. So note down these three steps. Perform in-order traversal of left subtree, visit root, perform in-order traversal of right subtree. So now we know that these are the steps. Now let's start. So you see slide 8, this is the binary tree we have. A, B, C, and then D, E, F, GHI. Okay. So you can see a bit more nodes to the right than to the left. So generally, if both the left and right subtrees have roughly equal number of nodes, we say it's balanced. Otherwise, we say it's unbalanced. So this one is slightly unbalanced. It's sort of more dense towards the right subtree, more nodes there. So anyway, now given this, how do we do an in-order traversal? So note that the goal is to visit all the nodes. So what is the algorithm? What are the steps we take for that? So in order of left subtree, right? So what is the left subtree? Left subtree will have B and D. So the way we have put it here is initially this box which has B and D will be blank. Okay, it will be blank. We'll soon fill it. And then what is the next step? Visit the root. So root, of course, we know A. So it will appear like that. And then visit right subtree. So right subtree will have all of these nodes C, E, F, G, H, I in some order. So again we have another box. So the way it works is, what is the final answer going to be for in order? We'll have first we'll have a blank box in which we'll have B and D in some sequence. What sequence we don't know. That will be followed by A. And then we'll have another box in which we'll have nodes G, E, F, G, H, I again in some sequence, which we'll soon calculate. So this is what the final answer is going to be. Okay. So perform in order of left subtree, print root, perform in order of right subtree. So next job is now to fill the left and right boxes. So let's start with the left box. It has a smaller number of nodes. So left box is left subtree, B and D. Right? So B and D. Now let's do an in order of this. So here again, same steps. Perform an in order of the left subtree. So now our tree is B and D. And now we want to perform an in order of left subtree. What does the left subtree have? In this tree of two nodes B and D, left subtree does not have anything because there is no left child. It is null. So nothing comes. Visit root. So which means we'll put B and perform an in order traversal of right subtree. What does right subtree have? It has only one node D. So we print it. So for B and D, left subtree which is null, followed by B which is root, followed by right subtree which is D. Okay. So we have now filled the box and the sequence is B, D. Okay. So if we're talking about let's say node D, and now if we want to run an in order on just node D, so first we have to see what is the left subtree of the node of the tree rooted at D. So what is the left subtree for the node rooted at D? Is null. No left child. And what is the right subtree of the tree rooted at D? Again null. So left subtree null, followed by root which is D, followed by right subtree which is null. In the end you get D. So therefore when you have a single node, we just output that. So now we have B and D, that is clear. So our final answer is going to be B, D, A, and now followed by some sequence. So now we take the original right subtree consisting of C, E, F, G, H, I. So on the right hand side we have. Now we evaluate it, break it down. So now again, what is the left subtree? So left subtree for tree rooted at C. So left subtree will have E and G. So we'll put a box here, blank box, followed by C which is the root. Anyway, it's single node it comes. Followed by right subtree which has another box with the F, H, I. Okay. So now you can see the recursion. So we'll have one box in which we'll put E and G in some order. Then we'll have C. And then we have another box in which we'll put F, H, I in some order. Okay. So now we look at this left subtree which is E and G. And now what will be the in order sequence for that? Left subtree which is G, just one node, followed by root, which is E, followed by right subtree, which is nothing, null. So the in order sequence is G followed by E. Right. So again, note for G, the left subtree is null and the right subtree is null. So left subtree null, followed by root, which is G, followed by right subtree, which is null. So end result G. So for a single node, we can just print that node as is. Okay. So the sequence is G followed by E. So we fill that box. C is anyway there, so only one more box to fill for FHI. So for FHI, we again towards the right, we have done the calculation for that. What is the in-order traversal for FHI? So again, divided into left subtree, right subtree, and root. Left subtree is H, followed by root, which is F, followed by right subtree, which is I. So sequence is HFI, right? So now we have GEC HFI, which we plug into our original one. And finally, the in-order sequence that we get is BDA GEC HFI. Okay. So idea is, given the original tree divided into root, left subtree, right subtree, root will appear as is, and the way it will appear is left subtree followed by root followed by right subtree. Right. So left subtree, B and D in some order, followed by A, followed by right subtree, C, E, F, G, H, I, and then recursively we call in order. We plug the values, and we get the final answer. So I hope that the in-order traversal is clear. Okay, so this is performing an in-order traversal on this particular tree. Okay, so now I am on slide 9, and here we do the pre-order traversal on the same tree. So once again, you should write down the 3 steps for pre-order traversal. And steps are visit root, perform a pre-order traversal of left subtree, perform a pre-order traversal of right subtree. So for in order, the sequence was left subtree, root, right subtree. For pre-order, the sequence is root, then left subtree, then right subtree. So keeping this in mind, root, then left subtree, then right subtree. Now let us look at the pre-order traversal. So again, given this original tree, we've got this exact same tree. First, we'll of course have the root, which is A, followed by pre-order of left subtree. So we'll draw a box in which nodes B and D need to appear in some order. So we'll soon fill the box. We'll find the answer for this box when we do a pre-order on the tree with nodes B and D. So followed by the right subtree, which has C, E, F, G, H, I. So we have a box for that. So root, which is A, followed by left subtree, which is a box in which B and D will appear in some sequence, and followed by another box for right subtree in which nodes C, E, F, G, H, I will appear in some sequence. What is that sequence? We'll only know when we do a pre-order on that. So let's look at B and D. So now we're looking at the tree rooted at B. Okay. It's got 2 nodes, B and D. D being the right child. So now we have to do pre-order on this. So pre-order again, visit root, which means first will come B. Then pre-order on left subtree. Left subtree is null, so nothing to put. And then pre-order of right subtree. Right subtree is D. So sequence is BD. So again, when we talk about the single node or the tree rooted at D, what we have not done is for D, the left and right child are null. Right? There is no left and right child. So the way, if you recall the C program, for leaf nodes, what we do is the left and right child pointers are given values of null. So for the tree rooted at D, left and right child values are null. So how do we do pre-order of that? First root, which means first D will come, then left child, or sorry, left subtree. Left subtree is null, so nothing will come. followed by right subtree, which is again null. So nothing will come. So in the end, we only get D. So which means when we're dealing with leaf nodes, right, whether it's in order or pre-order or post-order, what we get in the output is only that leaf node. Okay. Because no matter what sequence you do, the left and right subtrees will be null. Okay. I hope that's clear. So now, we have BD. So now ABD is clear. Now we need to fill the last box. So again, we do the calculation with the, so now we're looking at the tree with the C as a root. Tree rooted at C. So we've drawn that. Now recursively we apply pre-order, which means now we divide it into three parts: root, left subtree, right subtree. So now for pre-order, first we print the root. So which means now first we have C, which we have drawn, followed by left subtree. So left subtree, we again have a box in which we'll have E and G in some order. And for right subtree, again we have a box in which we have F, H and I in some order. Okay, so we'll have C followed by box followed by another box. So let's look at E and G. Now we're looking at the left subtree. So node with the E as the root, node rooted at E. So left child is G, no right child. So now what is the pre-order? Visit root, which means first E will come, then visit left, which means G will come, visit right, right is null, so sequence is E and G. Okay. So we get C followed by E followed by G. Now FHI, look at that. So now we're looking at the node rooted at F. Visit root, which means first we have F, then left subtree is single node, then we have H, then right subtree, which is single node, means I. So FHI. So we plug the FHIs, we plug that in. So sequence is CEG FHI. For the tree rooted at C, sequence is CEG FHI. Plug that in to our original equation, and the final sequence we get is ABD CEG FHI. So this is the pre-order traversal for the same tree. ABD CEG FHI. So you can see recursively doing those three steps in the same sequence. Okay. So I hope now that the pre-order traversal concepts are clear to you, right? Okay, so now I am on slide number 10. So last traversal that we cover is the post order. So again, for post order, please write down the steps. So for post order, the steps are, first step is perform post order of left subtree. Second step is perform post order of right subtree. Third step is visit root. So sequence is left subtree followed by right subtree followed by root. Okay. So left subtree, then right subtree, then root. So looking at this tree, we can immediately see that the last node to be visited is the root, which is A. So now let's perform a post order on it. So left subtree, we have a small box which will consist of, so in that we have to fill the values for doing a post order for the left subtree. So the tree rooted at B with nodes B and D, we have to do a post order of that, and once we do that, we'll be able to fill that box on the left. So left subtree followed by right subtree. So right subtree will have node C, E, F, G, H, I. So we have a box for that. To fill that box, we have to do a post order for the tree rooted at C, and followed by A, which is the root node. So now let's try to fill the first box. For that, we have to do a post order for tree rooted at B. So let's look at that, B and D. Now again, let's do a post order on it. So first we have left subtree. Left subtree is null, so nothing. Then we have right subtree. Right subtree has a single node D. So then first D comes, and then root, then B comes. So the box is filled as D followed by B. So note again, for a single node D, the left and right child nodes are null. So if we do left subtree, which is null, then we do right subtree, which is also null, and then we do root, which is D. Okay. So now we fill that, and we get D followed by B, D and B. Okay. So now we need to fill the second box. So for that, we do a post order on the tree rooted at C. So we draw that C, E, F, G, H, I. So divide this. We divide this tree into three parts: root, left subtree, right subtree. And again, how do we evaluate? Left subtree, we have a box for that, which will have E and G in some order, followed by right subtree, which will have F, H, I in some order, and followed by root, which is C, single node. So now to fill the first box, we have to look at the tree rooted at E again. So E and G. So left subtree, we'll get G, followed by right subtree, which is null, followed by root, which is E. So the correct sequence is G followed by E. Now looking at the right subtree, FHI, right? So we divide that also into root, which is F, left subtree, which is single node H, right subtree, which is single node I. So FHI, we do a post order, left subtree, which is H, followed by right subtree, which is I, followed by root, which is F. So for FHI, the post order traversal gives us HIF. So we plug that. So the sequence we get is GEHIFC. So we plug that into our original one, and the final post order sequence that we get is DBGEHIFCA. So DBGEHIFCA. So in this way, we can do a post order traversal of this entire tree. So you can see all three are quite similar. The steps are the same. It is just that the sequence in which you apply the steps is different. So three steps are do the traversal. So initially you run the traversal procedure, any one of the three on the original tree. So the steps are run the same traversal procedure on left subtree, and run the same traversal procedure on the right subtree, and visit root. These are the three steps, and we can have them in different sequences. So because of that, we can have different traversals. So I hope now that given a tree, you should be able to do in order, pre-order and post-order traversals on them. Okay. So the net result is we have a sequence in which we visit the nodes. Okay. So D followed by B followed by G followed by E followed by H followed by F followed by I, followed by F, then C, then A. Okay. So here we have a sequence for visiting a node. So what does it mean to visit a node? To visit a node means that we perhaps perform some operation on that node. So operation could be that we are just, let's say, grabbing some value and printing it. The operation could be that we are performing some calculation, like in the binary search tree example in chapter 6. Once we reached a particular node, if the word was occurring second, third, fourth time, then we have to increase the counter by 1. So we reach that particular node where that word is. Okay. And then once we reach that node, we increment count by 1. Okay. So typically we do while we reach a node, we do some operation on it. And here you can assume that the operation we're doing upon reaching a node is just printing its value. So we can easily do that if you have a pointer to the node, right? So PTR arrow, and then we can print the data. Here we can print the character. Okay. So this node name will be one of the member variables. Using a pointer to a node, we can easily print that. So when I say D over here, or A or B or C, whatever, it means I am accessing that particular member variable and printing it. Okay, so for each node, the task that we have is we are printing that node. Okay. So I hope now that all three tree traversals are clear.